Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Charles and I thought it was time that I did a bit of a physique update because I asked you guys if you wanted to see some of the things that I've changed in the last couple of months because my body has changed again. It's now coming up about 4 years since I started to lose weight, which seems like it's seriously so insane to think that I've now maintained my weight loss for 4 years, because that was something I could not even conceive of before I started learning about calorie density and I started eating a buttload of veggies and really lost like those 40 pounds in the space of about a year and a half. So maintained that a lot, and in the past 4 months-ish, 3-4 months, I've lost a little bit of weight again, and I wanted to talk about what's happened there. So this is going to be an update of how my body has changed in the last few months, but if you want a really in-depth update of my entire weight loss story, let me know in the comments, because I've been thinking I should probably do another one. I've done some little brief ones before, and I'm going to put those in the description, but a real in-depth dive of all the different things that I've done over the past 4 years. Let me know if you want to see that. Okay, so this is me currently tensing and the back, some muscles that have diminished, and if I'm not tensing, it looks a lot more like this. And this is from having 2 kids, and I always just have some fat along here, so you can see there's some fat and stuff there. Overall, super happy with how my body is looking right now, and more importantly how it's feeling super strong, and yeah, just really happy to be maintaining this weight. So for a little bit of background, in 2018 I was at my heaviest weight ever. This is about 3 months after I'd had my second daughter. I was feeling extremely trapped in my body. I was feeling very frustrated. The only ways that I'd been able to lose weight up to that point were with very extreme methods, like going fully raw, exercising a ton, and I'd never been able to maintain the lifestyle that had led to weight loss. So I was desperate to find something that was going to be more sustainable, and I had this little aha moment. I remember just thinking, you know what, if I lost all the weight, if I did a fully raw stint for 6 months and I lost all the weight that I want to, and then I gained it all back in the next 6 months, there would be no point. Like a year from now, what is my life going to look like based on what I do today? And at that moment, I realized that I had to start thinking about weight loss in terms of what I could actually sustain. So I started to look online. I was just going through, like I was searching tons of stuff. I was watching YouTube videos about like the potato reset. I found Chef AJ. I learned about calorie density, and they're things that I had kind of heard of in the past, but I hadn't really looked into deeply because I had been convinced there was something wrong with my body. So I really thought my metabolism was broken and that I would need some kind of extreme diet. It's like if you've got an extreme body, you need an extreme diet. And I've since learned that this is actually a really effective marketing tactic, where if someone can say to you, you're broken, you've got metabolic damage, you've got hormonal issues, you really need to do this and only this, then if you believe that, you're very, very likely to go to that extreme diet or go to that extreme protocol because you think that you're broken. So it's a marketing tactic. I didn't know that at the time. I learned about calorie density, and over the year and a half that I changed my diet, I lost those 40 pounds, and I was able to do it in a way that I've obviously sustained for coming up 4 years. So in 2020, I was working in a cafe as a chef, and I got to my lowest weight ever through a combination of being pretty strict on myself with my diet. Like I had hired a macro coach because I wanted to see what it was like to have a coach. I wanted to experiment with a couple of things, and I'll talk about that in another video. And I got to about 58 kilos, which is the leanest that I've been, which translates to about 128 pounds. And I was moving a lot at this time as well. I was biking to work most of the time, or walking home from work, sometimes skating there. And because of my work schedule, I wasn't able to snack during the day. I wasn't able to just go to the fridge and eat like I am now. So at that point, my lifestyle really worked for me to get to that pretty like lean weight, like 128 pounds. Like for me, that's really lean. So I had the calories that were coming into my body from my lifestyle were lower, and then my output was also higher, just simply based on the fact that I was moving so much in my job and everything surrounding actually getting to my job. And then about midway through 2020, I quit the cafe job and I was able to go full-time online, and my weight pretty quickly started to climb up. And there's a combination of factors. At the time, I thought it was because I had become less consistent with my diet. Like I had stopped doing the macro counting. I was just having like a lot more freedom in my diet, and yeah, I was eating more like Domino's, pizzas and cookies and things like that. And I thought that that was the main reason that my weight had gone up. Since I've learned more about it, I think the main reason was that my energy expenditure went from moving constantly and having a very active job to having a very sedentary job. I went from walking all day, lifting up plates, like cooking stuff, walking all around the kitchen, to basically being on my butt all day, creating content or doing YouTube videos. And I think I had a drastic drop in the amount of calories that I was burning. So that's one of the factors that contributed to that. And then I was also able to eat a ton more and snack a ton more because I was at home. I didn't have like this work schedule that was stopping me eating. So over the space of about 6 months, my weight went up and then stabilized at a new weight of about 62.5 kilos. And that's where I was sitting, which is about 137.8 pounds. And then because since quitting my job, I've been a lot more sedentary. I have been just not really like intentionally trying to lose weight or anything like that. I was pretty happy at that weight. Even though I enjoy physically being a bit leaner, I wasn't really actively trying to get leaner because it didn't really feel worth the extra effort. I just like having that a little bit more freedom with food too much. And I had like little instances where I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be intentional, maybe like lose a kilo or something like that, get my habits back on check. And it didn't really have significant change, and I think the main reason was because I just wasn't moving much. So my overall calorie burn had just come so much down from where the base level used to be when I was at my leanest. So if that factor changes drastically, and you'll notice this if you quit a really active job, you'll tend to gain weight. Like any kind of circumstance like that, where you've been super active in your day-to-day, and now you're not, you're normally going to notice weight gain, and it's really hard to actually compensate for that just with your calories coming in and the food that you're eating, because that's a lot harder to change. Like you're going to notice that in your hunger. So long story short, that was kind of where I was for a couple of years, and I was relatively happy there. Like the fact that I can maintain even just like where I was, like that weight, the fact that I can maintain that, eating as much as I want, whenever I want, and having like quite a lot of treats in my diet, and just having so much flexibility because I understand how weight loss works. Like that feeling is just absolutely priceless. So I was pretty happy. I am super happy with the fact that I've been able to do that, and I never thought that I would be able to. And then at the end of last year, a whole lot of things changed at once. So in October, I thought, you know what, my habits have really been slipping recently, and I wanted to get back to enjoying whole foods more, and I decided I was going to do the potato reset. And I did a video which showed all of what I did and my experience with that, and you can go and see that video here. I did the reset for about 2 weeks, and then at the end of it, I'd lost about 1 kilo, which is 2 pounds. And since that time, I was able to actually keep that off. It was really interesting. I didn't gain it back, and I wouldn't say, like, I definitely have not been perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I was able to keep that 1 kilo off. So after I did the potato reset in October, I was about 61.5 kilos. And then there was all the stuff going on in New Zealand with a lot of mandates, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but I decided I was going to quit the gym. And so I quit the gym, and I thought that, you know, I'm probably going to lose a little bit of weight, which is probably counterintuitive to what you're thinking, because I thought, I'm probably going to lose a little bit of muscle. So I was trying to compensate from that a little bit, like do some home workouts, do some pull-ups when I went to the playground and things like that. Didn't really notice much of a change. Definitely did start to see my fitness and my strength go down, which was really demoralizing at the time. So at that time I thought, I'm going to switch from doing like all of these gym workouts that I've been doing, and I'm going to focus on running. So I started to run a whole lot more, and I was probably running about 3 times a week, I think. It's actually super hard to remember, even though it wasn't very long ago. I maintained that weight that I'd lost in the potato reset over Christmas, over like early January. And then at that time, I'd learned about a friend of mine who was doing a challenge, and they were running 5 kilometers every day. And at that point, they'd done it for over 200 days. And it freaked me out, the idea of committing to something like that, but I was very intrigued by what would happen if I ran every single day for 90 days or 100 days, and how that would affect my habits. Like, that was the thing that I was really interested in. How would that affect my habits if I had to go out and do this super difficult thing every single day? So I'd known about this challenge for a while, and I actually did a podcast episode with Bree, who is the girl who inspired me to do this challenge. Spoiler, I did end up doing it. I am doing it. You can go and listen to the podcast episode I did with her, where she talks about all about why she did that, how she got into the challenge. So definitely go and check that out. Around the same time, my husband Nick got invited to do a 90-day challenge, and in this challenge, there was a whole lot of things that you needed to do. One of them was no snacking and no desserts, things like no TV, like no social media, and it was a 90-day thing. And he decided that he was going to go for it to see how that would change his habits, and he thought it'd be like a really good thing for him to do. And I was like, okay, this is the time. He's going to be doing this quite difficult challenge. I want to do something as well. I want to challenge myself, so I'm going to commit to this 5 kilometers a day thing. And I had a friend whose husband was doing the same challenge, and she's a bit of a crazy runner as well, always up for things. I asked her like, hey, would you want to do this challenge with me? And she was really keen, and there happened to be another girl there at the same time that I asked her, who I'd never met in my life, but she was also a bit of a crazy runner. And this goes out to you, Ange and Fran, and they both decided that they were going to do the challenge with me. So we all have Garmin watches. We got on the Garmin app and we set up this challenge, and then now it's been over 70 days that we've run 5 kilometers every single day, which is insane. Like, I need to do a video about this because it's changed my habits and my mindset in so many ways. Like, there's so many takeaways from it. And I was not expecting to lose weight by starting a running challenge. It was not why I did it. I was really keen to see how it affected my habits. But what happened was I ended up losing another kilo, so another 2 pounds, in about the first month that I started running every day. So my weight has now, since starting this challenge, stabilized at about 60.5 kgs, which is 133 pounds. So it means since October, I've lost about 5 pounds, and I'm maintaining that loss without really any effort because a couple of things have changed. One thing I just want to say about the running challenge is I really wanted to be able to get faster, and without even really trying, I was able to hit a massive personal best of running under 24 minutes for that 5Ks. I've never been able to do that. Like, I have always wanted to run under 25 minutes for a 5K, and it's just more proof of if you do something consistently, it's just that consistency that really builds up results over time. It's not one-off effort. It's just little bits of consistency. That's a whole nother side note, but it's been fascinating, like I said, to see how much this running challenge has just changed things for me. Now, I want to point out that another thing happened at that time, and that is that around the same time that I started the challenge, Nick bought me a treadmill desk. And I've been wanting this for a really long time. I was super inspired by Michael Greger, who always does his interviews walking on his desk. And so I got this under desk treadmill, and I started to use that when I was working. And it was just like another little piece in the puzzle as to what contributed to me burning more calories than I normally would. So since October, I've lost those 5 pounds and I'm maintaining that quite easily. I really like being at this weight. Like, it's not super lean where it's an effort for me to maintain it, but my clothes are fitting better than they did. I just feel like more myself. I like being here, even though it's only just 5 pounds difference. I'm really enjoying being where I am. There was nothing really intentional about losing weight in the past couple of months, but there's 4 main reasons that I did anyway. Number 1 is just simply more movement from my treadmill. More calorie burn because I'm now walking and moving instead of just standing still or sitting. Number 2 is just increasing my calorie burn overall. Normally, exercise doesn't help you lose weight because you offset that in some way by eating more because you're hungrier, or moving less throughout the day because you're more tired from exercise. But I think personally, this is just a hypothesis, because my overall calorie burn would have been so low anyway because it's so sedentary normally, adding in those 5Ks a day has upped my calorie burn. And it was almost like it couldn't get lower. My movement couldn't get lower. The third reason, Nick has not been having desserts or snacks, neither have I. So I was trying to have some solidarity with Nick over this challenge that he's been doing. I have started having desserts a bit more often recently, and avocado toast at night, which is not a good idea. But even though I was exercising a ton more, it wasn't like my movement was decreasing. It actually increased because of my treadmill desk, and it wasn't like my food was increasing because I'd cut out snacking and I'd cut out dessert. So that actually decreased a little bit. We also stopped going out to eat at restaurants due to the mandates, and that would probably be another small reason why my overall calorie burn has probably gone down in the last 4 or 5 months. And probably as well, I have lost a little bit of muscle tone. I'm definitely not as strong as I was. So to wrap it all up, there was tons of little changes that then have reflected where my weight has ended up. If those change again, that's also going to reflect my weight. If I stop the running challenge, if I stop using my treadmill desk, if I go back to eating the way that I was, that's going to reflect in that. We're currently planning a trip to America, and I fully expect to gain weight on that trip because my lifestyle is going to change. Lifestyle changes almost always affect your calorie input and your calorie output. Think about the fact that I gained weight after I quit my cafe job. It wasn't because I had failed, it was because my calorie burn just changed significantly. You also notice that I didn't intentionally try and lose weight, but I was intentional about the habits that I was creating and the way that I set up my environment. And that then led to those changes. My environment being the fact that I got a treadmill desk, I was doing this running challenge with my friends. I wasn't snacking at night or eating desserts. And because my habits and my environment changed, it then changed my calorie input and output with very little effort from me. So always focus on these things as you are trying to build a new normal that's going to lead you to weight loss. Ask yourself, what are the habits, what is the environment that is going to change the way that I act? Well, how is that going to change and shift my behavior so that it's then much easier for me to slip into those patterns that then lead me to the results that I want? Always focus on your habits and your environment, and those lead to the results you want, rather than focus on just the results themselves, like losing 10 pounds by Christmas or something like that. And James Clear, who wrote one of my favorite books ever about behavioral change, which is Atomic Habits, says that we rise or fall to the level of our systems. So I had system changes that then led to changes in me. That's the thing that you want to focus on. How can you create a system that then changes your behavior and then changes the results so that you get where you want to be? All right, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you found that educational and helpful in the examples that I've given. And I would love to hear in the comments what you want to hear from me or what you want to see from me. What did you think of the video? Let me know, and I'll see you next week for another one. All right, see ya. Bye.